I'm still a Bravo girl forever and always. And we have a relationship. So you may see me a little bit, but I have decided that at this present moment, I think they're doing great. And I think God is sending me in another direction at this present moment. That does not mean I'll never go back on Married to Medicine. It just means that this current year, there was another mission and vision for me. And I think I'm sitting in the right seat right now. This is a part of my journey. So yeah, when I tell you, it is nothing but love and support. And I mean, I was in the military, right? I'm not still in the military, but I'm a veteran for life. And that's kind of how I feel. Like, we talk on the phone, we hang out, but it does not have to be on camera. And it does not have to be, especially, I would say over the last couple of years, it was a very difficult experience for me being on reality television. And I am in such a great place that I just didn't want to disrupt that at this moment. And so it feels very organic for me not to like live my life on screen right now. And, but everybody is different. And so the ones who are doing that, I think is the best thing for them they got to make their own decision. But for me, it just wasn't the right decision to be on camera. One thing that reality television makes you do is it makes you address things that you sometimes wouldn't address. Like, for instance, interestingly enough, with even this situation with my mom, we never talked about like her family history. We never talked about, even though I was there for her journey. When we came home, it wasn't like, okay, do you understand that I just went to a radiation treatment? Okay, you understand that I'm having chemotherapy and this is what's going on. It was almost like things happen and you don't really talk about it. You just like act like it didn't happen. And in my marriage, I learned some of those same traits, right? And so there was a lot that we just, if it weren't for a camera there and even the producer saying, okay, so what about this that we just saw? What about this? We would have continued in that same vein. And so it's difficult sometimes to have hard conversations. And it was no different in my marriage. And if it weren't for reality television, we wouldn't have ever done that. It's just not our natural tendency, right? You stay in the safe space, which is ease and comfort. And discomfort, we all shy away from it if we can. So when it comes to having a prophylactic mastectomy, it's not a decision to take lightly. And even when it comes to a diagnosis of cancer, right? You have to make, we call it precision medicine. You have to make the right decision based on your actual, your diagnosis, what's best for your goals. Because everyone, when you go through treatment, what are your goals of treatment? What outcome are you expecting? And even, again, looking at treatment innovation, one of the blessings of innovation is there's so many options now. When my mom was diagnosed, there was essentially one option. It was radiation, and for her, it was either a mastectomy or lumpectomy. But now there are so many different types of innovations that are available to women. And the reason that I decided to do so is because I had had continuous abnormal tests. And I just said, at this point in my life, I just don't want to worry about this anymore. And because of my experience with my mother, like I said, my life had been overclouded by fear. And I didn't want to live in that space anymore. So when it comes to women and making those decisions, one, I would say, listen to the voice in your head. And number two, sit down and talk to your doctor and even get second and third opinions and figure out what's going to be the best for your ultimate goals. Even now, like when I come home, if like say for instance, I had to work late and I came home and I have two daughters. My oldest, Lauren, is 14 and my daughter, Layla, is 9. And I'll come home and they'll be laying down or like in the bed and nothing on like no bonnet, no scarf. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? It's not a satin pillowcase. So we don't go to bed without wrapping our hair or keeping it somehow protected. And my mom actually was a master braider. So the way my hair is now, my mother could do that. So my hair was always perfect. And so it was even for her, she felt like, and I just feel like Black mothers in particular, I mean, you can come from a 2-parent home, 3 generations live with you, but when your hair ain't done, it's your mama's fault. Like, it's reflective of the mom. So for me, it was always kind of keep your crown, intact, because that's an indication of how you doing. If your hair is messed up, then you messed up. And so for Black women, I think in particular, that's still a big aspect of our lives. And I don't think people understand that. Like, why do you spend so much time on your hair? And why do you not want to do something because it's gonna mess up your hair? Because my hair being messed up means I'm messed up. They don't get that correlation. So yeah, but my mom, that was a part of our weekend experience. We would either Saturday or Sunday night spend the whole day getting ready for the week. And I kind of still do that. There's a whole, situation. We washing, conditioning, co-washing, twisting, braiding, and then, whole thing. So it's something that I've passed into my daughters. And especially now when they have such a multicultural friendship, like friend group. And I even have to explain to them, like, you can't do everything that you see other people doing, right? We got to do, like, my daughters swim. And so I'm like, you got to put your swim cap on. You got to protect your hair. You got to put something on it before you get in that water because you don't want to dry it out. And it's our journey. People don't have to understand. They don't have to get it. So I love salt and pepper growing up. And so anything salt and pepper, absolutely. They were like the, hair icons. Lil' Kim, still love Lil' Kim. I mean, I don't care what y'all say. Lauryn Hill, and then of course when Alicia Keys popped on the scene, it was like, oh, okay, we get permission to like show our true authentic selves. And then of course anything Lauryn Hill did, like I was a huge Fugees fan, still am. I could probably recite the beginning to the end of all the albums. So yeah, I'm a big Lauryn Hill fan. And I actually bumped into her on a plane one time, and I was just like, the queen. Like in shock, because one of the reasons I named my daughter Lauren is because I love Lauryn Hill so much. So it's almost like we used like MTV Raps and like so all like the TV shows and stuff to glean what hairstyles we were gonna wear. Like she was just like, I'm just trying to get to my seat. I was just like, oh, it's you. And she's like, yes, it's me. I'm like, it's you. Like, yeah, it was ridiculous. Because when people are like super famous like that, like they get it all day, every day. So it was just, for me, it was just unexpected. I was just like trying to figure out who was bumping in, who's coming down the aisle. And it was just the queen herself. My God, it's insane. Like whenever you'll see something like, for instance, the Met Gala or like some runway show, you're just like, oh, okay, so that hairstyle is back. But I think, unfortunately, we don't always get the credit for it, but Black people set the trends, period. Like, period. I've been to Africa before, and when I was there, it was amazing how many like things I saw in Africa, like back when, this is prior kids, so, 20 years ago, that we're just now doing here. And so we got to pay homage to the originals. And so, yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it just takes a little while for us to, of course, implement it and then pass it on to the mainstream. But now, of course, with social media, we do something and the next day it goes viral, especially if somebody else copies our style. We start a dance and then somebody else does it on TikTok and now it's trending. But when we did it, it was just what we did, we didn't get the credit. Well, one thing that my mother always said, and that I try to tell my daughters, is any hair that grows is good hair. So don't even say that foolishness about like, the way, that your wave pattern determines the quality of your hair. And so that's one thing I do with my daughters is I just reinforce, one, hair doesn't make you beautiful. And how you wear your hair is your choice, and your length of your hair is just, whatever goes, whatever you feeling is fine.